Yo, what's poppin'? All my peeps, it is I, your host with the most Renaissance man who always thinks he can. And oh yeah, your champion. Shit, wire suck. Of the peeps, Patty Pitts, back once again in the Yard Streams for another edition of the Raw Rewind, part of Pitts and Sara's wrestling show, where we take no nights off. And obviously, it's not just me here in the Yard of Streams. I got with me the best of the West you can't forget about. Sara Marshall. What's poppin', girl?
Hey, yo.
Hey, yo. Hello.
Hey, yo. What's poppin'? What we doing on this fine-ass Tuesday?
A lot of news. There's a lot of NFL news.
A lot of shit going on.
Yeah.
We're kicking Sala out of the Big Apple. We're
Aaron
just
Rodgers?
throwing. Aaron Rodgers sucks.
Well, Aaron Rodgers definitely got him fired, I think.
Oh, shit, Sherlock. Yes.
Yeah.
You got, Rodgers keeping his good pal Nathaniel Hackett with a job.
Mm-hmm.
What did you
Drake May?
That's what I was going to say. That Drake May, we're just going to feed him to the Wolves and be chewed up for his rookie season and do exactly what we did to Mac Jones. So
I don't want to believe that, okay?
Sarah, I have my opinions.
No, I'm on the same page as you. I wanted him to sit for most of the year. I just want to be as optimistic as possible at this point because there's nothing I can do to change it. So I'm just trying to accept that they've made this decision and it is what it is. I don't love that, they're going against the defense that just made Josh Allen have the worst completion percentage or whatever.
30%.
Yeah, of the millennium. Where
the Mac Jones didn't throw that bad.
I know, right? Josh Allen sucks, brother. But anyway, he's overrated if you ask me. But that's a topic for another day.
That's for your Musket Fire show, which you can check out over at Musket Fire YouTube channel. All right, I'll plug your show. Sarah.
I'll be going live tomorrow. I'll be going live tomorrow to discuss the state of the New England Patriots after Week 5. So,
I might have to get a press pass for that. I might have to tune into that because I would like to. I have some thoughts now that you got brewing. It didn't I don't know what it is, but now since Drake, it's happening. I don't know. Weird shit's happening where I whatever. Doesn't matter because you know why? We're talking wrestling. And
yes,
not only are you here in the Yard of Stream, Sarah, we got the peeps in the chat. What's up, David? How you doing? No, Nathaniel, let's not go Drake May. Hey, Sarah, Patriots will win 6 games.
He's asking us.
Yeah, I don't.
Maybe that would mean that they need 5 more. And the thing is it's weird because you want May to succeed, obviously, but then at the same time, the worse the Patriots are, the better their draft pick. So if they get to a point where maybe they don't win even 3 games, we're just going to have to embrace the suck and be excited about them having a top draft pick. So
what's up?
What
David? Love the Blue Jacket. I love that logo. That's a fire old school logo by the Blue Jackets. Hockey is also back.
Yeah, basketball is back. Almost officially back anyway.
The Celtics. Mm-hmm. The best basketball team in the NBA. Oh, it's great to be in Boston sometimes. But you know where it's always great to be, Sarah? Talking wrestling, because we did not go live on Sunday after the pay-per-view. And we have not really talked about it. Obviously,
we could give some thoughts on it.
Just some thoughts.
Okay. So I think that Bad Blood went it went exactly how we predicted it was going to. Almost completely. I think I almost went 5 of 5. That was including surprise appearances. Okay.
I
and
gotta write this shit
interferences.
down because I forget.
Okay, so we started off with the Hell in a Cell match, which was incredible.
Top grade.
Bully Ray was not a fan. He was not a fan.
You know what? He was a fan. He just wished they did one thing
Well,
differently.
no, he wasn't a fan of the toolbox. Yeah, is
Yeah,
that what you mean?
gimmick.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like
but
one weapon he would have liked. Yeah,
that really fucked Drew up, brother.
that it was his head was open. Like
16 staples. 16.
he
And it's
didn't win the match.
crazy because I really feel, we'll talk about what happened at the start of Raw, but Punk really only got like beat up, like his body did, but I don't think you can really see the damage as much as he's feeling
He
it.
covered.
And the
Yeah.
opposite is what you could say about Drew.
Oh yes. No.
Drew
Yes.
was physically fucked, but
He
a
just
lot of that was the toolbox and his own doing, because he was doing some wild
he was doing
stuff.
some wild ass shit.
And did you see him crying at the end of the match?
I did.
It tore me up. But this is the thing. I'm gonna go on a mini rant. Drew McIntyre is by far, I don't care what anyone says, and I don't care if anyone has a problem with that, because I've been called out for saying you shouldn't say you don't care what anyone says. Well, I don't, okay? Because it's my opinion, okay? And I think you're wrong if you think otherwise. I think Drew is hands down the wrestler of the year. If you want to talk about wrestling matches, if you want to talk about storyline development, if you want to talk about character progression, if you want to talk about mic skills, promos, memorable moments, it's Drew McIntyre. 2024 is the year of Drew McIntyre. There's nothing you could say to convince me otherwise. And I think he's wildly underrated. Sorry.
Yes. I was really about to. Yeah.
It's because
really
my brain is already moving on.
You're like.
I'm
I
so
love Drew.
yes.
Love
And the way that I think that this was demonstrated even more, that people don't appreciate how much he's done, is the influx of like, Drew is incredible. Oh my God, this man has had a great 2024 after that match. That is when people started to be like, oh shit, he's done fantastic. And I'm not saying that was the only way. There's people who have been crediting him all year round. I'm not saying that there isn't.
Oh, we have been.
But yes,
the show has been doing it.
The influx of Drew McIntyre appreciation this past week since Bad Blood aired, that is where you can tell that this recognition of just how good this current run has been for him was not appreciated. And I think part of it was because he was against CM Punk. And it's easy for people to side with Punk and be excited because he's back. And this was like his first real feud. And so people were kind of overlooking what Drew did. But if you ask me, Drew carried this entire feud. I think that he got better, and we talked about this I don't know, a week or two ago, about you could definitely argue that they brought the best out in each other, but I would say that it's almost like Punk being in that position for Drew to work with made Drew better, because I wouldn't say that this was Punk's best work, you know what I mean? Like, he didn't it wasn't poor by any means.
That's not
but
that's not what we mean by that. No, this is not CM Punk's greatest feud ever.
No, but I mean, this was Drew's possibly in WWE.
100%. Drew McIntyre,
like,
yes.
And it didn't involve him having a title for very long. He had the title for 5.5 minutes. You know what I mean? So this is a significant storyline that you could argue is the reason he will be in the Hall of Fame eventually.
This
it wasn't around the title, and that is why it was so good, because a lot of the best storylines that you can think of throughout WWE history involve the WWE Championship, the World Heavyweight Championship, or, if you go to the 90s, the Intercontinental Championship. There's not a lot of stories that people will remember for years and years that didn't involve anything with the title. It was just pure hatred and good storytelling and good wrestling that had you sucked in. So I really feel like Drew deserves his flowers, and I'm like, this has been the year of me becoming like a ride or die for Drew. Like, I've loved Drew since he came back and went through this whole transition, to coming back to WWE and whatever. But this is like, that's my guy forever and always. You know what I mean? So I had to give him love because, man, incredible. That was incredible. I don't know if you have anything to say about
No,
that.
you really summed it up there.
Okay.
Because I could go on a whole Royal Ramble about every aspect of the pay-per-view, and even I think we can save certain talking points for the Thursday show,
Yeah.
obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But all I will say is that for as hyped up as the pay-per-view was, I can envision this being a Papa Paul era staple. Like
Bad
it's gonna
blood.
be like Bad Blood is the new Money in the Bank in that way. Where
Mm,
Money in the Bank, it's friggin' obvious what it's about,
yeah.
but Bad Blood is that time of the year or that pay-per-view where you have a lot of really deep personal beefs going on,
Mm-hmm.
and you just have them in the show, because who better to produce it than the man who made Bad Blood what it is,
Mm-hmm.
with him and Shawn Michaels Hell in a Cell, and the lesser known Kevin Nash, Triple H, Mick Foley Hell in a Cell. So
I would say one other thing too about the bad blood as a whole. Um, I understand why they had the Hell in a Cell match kick it off, because obviously, as we talked about, The Rock was at the end. I really do think that when you look at how it is, though, I still feel like it was a mistake, because
it's
it was 100% a mistake, because so that match was the main event. It's being discussed as a match of the year candidate for most people. And right now I think it's my match of the year, even though I was like
No,
wanting to vomit.
it's my match of the I think that's my match of the year.
Yeah. And so it's
I
like,
yeah.
I
No, that
think
is.
that definitely set the tone for the show, but the rest of the show didn't live up to it. Not even The Rock coming out and doing whatever the fuck he did. That did not trump what they did in the first match, and it feels like the show was backwards almost, like, you get what they say about, okay, the first match is like the most important, but everybody's aiming to get the last match, but they try to treat them the same, because the first match sets the tone and the main event is the main event. You're the last match and the last thing that fans see before they turn off the TV or they go home. But y'all did not live up to what they did in that first match, so it made the rest of the show feel kind of like like, you kind of thought that The Rock was going to come out, but he didn't do anything, and it was just kind of like, it didn't make it seem superior to what CM Punk and Drew McIntyre did. So it was just kind of a shame that that's how it ended up, but it's exactly what I thought was going to happen. So it is what it is.
Stop being a little wizard over there, okay?
Yeah. Sorry.
Slithering ass.
Okay, so we'll get into this first topic of Raw, since we're already talking about them, which is CM Punk kicked off. CM Punk kicked off Raw, and looking banged up, but not too bad, and you really don't know how much of it is real, honestly, because
He did a good debrief. He did a really good job selling it.
Yes.
I think put it this way. I think he's in a lot of pain.
Oh, I'm
But
sure.
I mean, the fact that he didn't walk down to the ring, I was
Mhm.
like, all right, this is good job. Like
Yeah.
you're selling it. It's
So
incredible.
he came out and thanked a bunch of people, which I noticed that he did not thank Drew McIntyre.
He said
And I was like,
haters. He said haters.
Drew McIntyre just gave him one of the best matches of his career, and he didn't
He'll
thank him.
say that backstage
Whatever,
and be like,
whatever.
That's, thank you.
But basically what he came out to say was kind of what everyone thought would happen if he lost the match, because he was like, all right, well, if I lose this, it's like I really have to question my future, blah blah blah. And that was what he was doing anyway. So he alluded to retirement because of how beat up and this he got from this match, and like how intense this match was. And I'm gonna have to sneeze, I'm sorry. Maybe not. It's gonna go. Okay.
Let it go.
It left. I hate that. Anyway, so I think that this kind of surprised me, but I kind of like the like realistic part of this because I think this is true. You know what I mean? I think that if they went into this match and it was as brutal as it was, and then he just came out acting like, all right, now I'm ready for
Yeah,
Gunther, it's like that
let's
wouldn't it's like that's too
comic book.
yes, it's too fake. Like you wouldn't believe it because you know you might have come out the victor, but you got your ass beat, bro. You know,
Yeah,
like
you're
so
not.
I kind of like that he still went with like, oh man, like if I'm gonna have to do more of this kind of stuff because you know he's got some other haters out there as we saw when Seth Rollins came out, which
Oh,
we'll
we're
talk
gonna.
about.
Oh, we're getting there.
He's gonna have some more brutal matches. So I'm very curious to see like how they go from here. Like what is next for CM Punk?
I Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. When he didn't come out, my thinking behind this is that they don't really need him right now. Like when you think
Yeah.
about it, okay? Are you mad? Yeah, you're mad you're not going to see CM Punk for a little bit, but think about it this way. Who would he fight at Crown Jewel? Do you even want him at Crown Jewel? The next thing is War Games after that. Yeah, he returned last year at War Games or 2 years ago, I mean, whatever.
No.
No, it was last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow. Time flies.
Yeah.
Um it was he came back at War Games, but you really are centered on a Bloodline War Games or like a Live Rhea
Yeah.
War Games. Like your mind, CM Punk doesn't fit into that
Because
group,
we're
so it
in
doesn't
that
matter.
we're in the weird point where you're just waiting for the rumble basically. It's
Yeah,
like the awkward point where you're like between the rumble and mania where you can't do too much that's not going to happen at mania. So it's like there's a lot of stories that aren't happening or things are drawing on too long. It's like right now, yeah, there's going to be some weirdness because it's like okay, well what do we do? We don't want to get something
and
started yet, but yeah.
Survivor Series. Like now they're making Survivor Series into War Games instead of the classic tag match, elimination tag match.
Mhm.
So it is more investment there. You know, that's an ender, a be all end all of things to to cycle back into building up for the Royal Rumble now. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? It's like you're before War Games, if you're not aligned with anyone, it doesn't mean like I don't expect Cody to put his title on the line
He might
at
be on
Survivor
Team
Series.
Bloodline, brother.
That's what I'm saying, and I'm pretty sure you said that, and I
Yes, brother.
don't know.
I did. I
Fuck you.
did. I said this
Fuck
months
you.
ago. I said
I know you did. I know you did.
I said I really wouldn't be surprised if he was the one that's going to be on Roman's team and everybody gave me pushback in the chat including you.
Yeah, because I still don't agree with it. I'm on KO side here.
Well, he just turned on Cody. So,
I said what I said.
what if
I
he's on Team
said
Bloodline? That would be kind of sick.
KO on
Yeah.
team like
Bloodlines
2.0. Oh,
2.0.
could you imagine Jacob Fatu and Kevin Owens on the same team?
I would love that. But I agree. I think I kind of am on the boat also of not being thrilled about it because obviously he's one of my favorites, but I would be fine with Drew being gone for a while. That man
Yeah,
has
I
been through
don't.
so much because it's not even just, you know, the matches that he's has been doing, the storylines and how much he's been killing that, how much he's basically been on like every Raw this past year. He's also dealt with multiple family deaths, one of which just happened
Yeah,
last week. Like his
dude.
wife had health scares. Like this dude has been doing so much that I'm like, bro, I would be totally fine with you being gone until the Rumble. Like have him
Yeah,
be a
like if he's a
Rumble.
surprise entrant at the Rumble, do you understand the roof not being on that place anymore? They're going to need to do it at a stadium.
Well, and the interesting part about that is kind of like what just happened with AJ Styles is he could be
I
gone and he
still,
could come back as a baby face, which
but
I don't. I
I
want.
still got to read into that.
I know.
Was in and out of SmackDown before
Oh,
Bad
okay.
Blood, so
Well,
like I saw obviously know what happens. I see that, but like I haven't caught up with
Okay,
the
well,
just
AJ Styles returned as a babyface, obviously. So I'm saying
yeah.
like that
Fucking
could be Drew,
figured.
although I don't know if I love it because I love heel Drew.
Nah, he doesn't need to come back as baby. He just comes back as Drew McIntyre.
Still, but
I don't
anyway,
think he needs to come back as babyface. That is
yeah, he could just come back as just continue being like the tweener. Just like depends on
yeah,
who you're against.
just claymore people all day long.
Um, AJ getting hurt so quick sucked. Yeah, because
Oh,
the
100%.
the first thing wasn't legit, but landing on his knee was. So we don't know um how bad it is. Um, did you want to get to other comments? Because I have to respond to a work chat really
Yeah,
quick.
I will appease the peeps. I like that. I like that phrase. All right, let me try. I'm trying to. Drew is the man.
He is.
Cortez. Let me see. Bad Blood pay per view was 2-match show. Yeah, I don't think 2-match show. I don't think it was a top to bottom 5-star classic, but I was very entertained throughout the whole thing. Yeah, I was peeved with some endings and whatnot, but like I'm happy I stayed. I'm happy I watched the entire thing. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Liv Morgan Rhea Ripley feud has become more annoying than the Rhodes Bloodline internal
I
pseudo feed. No, because it's not over yet. So
A lot of people are over it. I'm kind of surprised. I think that they've
I'm
just
shocked.
I think that they just haven't gone about it the
There's
complete
so
right way
many
recently, but I
comments.
don't think that makes it bad.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's nothing bad to it. It just you gotta be along for the entire ride. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you have to see that. You have to know that Bad Blood that match is not going to end in a clean way because it's the
Mhm.
second match. Liv has to retain in some way, shape, or form
Mhm.
because she still got something with Dominic. She said, or Rhea said to the referee, "I have some unfinished business." Of course,
And
she's not winning after that. We
well,
saw what happened at Mania
but the
when
thing
someone
is
did that
also
person.
is people are like saying stuff about how the match ended, and I get it, it was botched or whatever happened. Like the ref was like, "Oh, he had to call it a disqualification because he saw what happened," and it's like, "Oh, well, I can't pretend like I didn't see it." And then I'm like, and then we see you in the mid match being completely biased for Rhea, so because she's like, "Oh, I have some stuff to do." He's like, "Oh yeah, you deserve it." What? You're supposed to be like a referee, a neutral party. What do you mean? And then you disqualified Liv because of Rhea? What are we doing? But whatever.
Clusterfuck.
It just it was not a good day for referees, I would say. Okay, but we kind of already hinted this, and we briefly
Yeah,
got
and
to
this is
see.
his next feud. There you go.
Yeah.
That's all I need to
So
say. That's his next feud.
we saw the triumphant return of Seth Rollins at the end of the last Monster Standing match. By the way, Braun Strowman tore his groin in the
Yeah, I
first
know
2
it.
minutes of that match.
Did you see him running? He couldn't.
That kind of stuff is never not going to amaze me, honestly. Like it's like
Yeah,
when you
that's
hear
true.
about these injuries that athletes play through or wrestle through, whatever,
Whatever the
I don't
sport.
get it. I'm like even this show, Drew with that giant gash on his head, how did he not
Just
pass out? You know what I mean? Like 16 staples in his head. We can even talk about when it happened with Finn at Mania against Edge. He literally gets knocked in the head, is immediately gushing. They quickly glue it, which probably stung like a motherfucker. And then he just
I got chills.
goes right back. Finn tearing all the muscles and ligaments and everything in his shoulder after popping his shoulder into socket multiple times. And this dude continued on for another 20 minutes. What? Now we have Braun Strowman tearing his groin. Wasn't for a title or anything. And he was like, "Yep, here we go."
You're telling me, hold on, Sarah. Are you telling me that Braun Strowman went off the top rope
Yeah.
with a torn groin
According to
and
him,
took
yes.
out an entire sea of people?
Yep. According to him, yes.
See,
I'm
Braun
not a
Strowman is one big SOB.
yeah, I'm not like a
Holy shit,
fan.
dude.
I'm not a
Holy.
fan of Braun Strowman, but dude,
He's
that
not one of your favorite.
that
He
boy can
came real good.
go. Yeah.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, I get what you
So
mean.
anyway, Seth decides, you know what? I'm gonna interrupt you, Mr. Phil. Okay. And they have a little stare off, but that's not why Seth was there. Seth was there to call out and threaten our boy, Bronson Reed, who was not there, but was just interviewed by Chris Van Vliet, which I'll need to watch.
I watch it too.
So we're going to see Seth versus Bronson in the meantime until Punk is able to come back and whatever. I'm actually really interested in this because this feels like more of a personal beef from Seth, but business from Bronson because I don't think he cared about Seth. It was just an
Not a chance.
opportunity that he saw. So I always feel like those are interesting feuds because they're such different perspectives on the same situation.
Yeah. They that's what can make a good feud sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Is that it's like for Seth, he made it personal because he took him out. Like that 6 month, however, I forget how long it was. A couple months off his career after what he went through at Mania. Like, yeah, he's gonna take it personal. But
Mm-hmm.
Bronson Reed just wants the opportunity. Like, let's take out a big star so that we can get one step closer to the heavyweight title picture.
Yeah.
It's and sometimes that's all you need for a feud. I can see why people are over the live Rhea in the sense where the detail, into it, like if you aren't fully invested, then you're not going to be as into it. Where
Mm-hmm.
this, you don't need to. You don't need to have those details. It's just two dudes who hate each other. They're
Mm-hmm.
gonna talk shit a little bit with some promos, and then they're gonna go beat the hell out of each other in the ring. Like that's all you need sometimes to make a good feud. And in this case, it works because Bronson Reed can hang with Seth Rollins.
Mm-hmm. I
He can
know.
hang.
Yeah, so I think this is going to be interesting to see once they come face to face and just to hear what Bronson has to say because obviously Seth took it very personally and was not happy about having to be on the shelf for the last few months. And we haven't heard from Bronson yet. So I'm curious to see what he has to say and like where this goes because I think this is a huge opportunity for Bronson. It also just shows you how much they like him backstage because he's now being thrown to one of the biggest stars on the brand. And no disrespect to Braun Strowman, but he's not at that level, not anymore,
No,
at
that's a
least.
different level
So
that's a different, yeah.
yeah, so this could be a really good feud and a good intermediate feud for Seth. Um,
Yeah,
so I'm
because what
really
else is Seth doing? Right, Seth wants to be on the show, wants to be doing something.
yeah.
Why not just look what it?
Well,
Why not do something?
and we know that the feud with Punk is probably going to happen. That's probably going to be their Mania match, you would assume, if they try to do what they couldn't do this year, next year. So you can't start that in October. Like they've already been hinting at it since he returned almost a year ago. So it's like random moments throughout the year have kept reminding you that these two do not like each other. And so we got a hint of that again as a quick little reminder before Punk is off TV for however long. And they'll probably start, it's going to be something where they're face to face again in the Rumble. Like that's going to be probably what kickstarts
That'll
it
be the shot.
again.
That'll be
Mm-hmm.
the shot.
And I think that's the way to go about it. Especially if one eliminates the other or what. But
Would you be upset if this feud ended with a match at Mania for the World Heavyweight Championship?
um it's hard to say because I would love for Drew to take it off Punk. And obviously that wouldn't happen by him winning the Royal Rumble. and it's not going to happen with him winning Money in the Bank again because he just won it this past year. They're not going to do it
You
again.
can't. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think this is the last of Punk versus Drew. I do think obviously it's going to be a while, but I would love for that to be the end game. That was kind of what I had been saying all along. Like, if Punk was going to win at Bad Blood, I don't want that to be the final chapter. I want it to be the chapter we're pausing on right now. And I want the long game to be that Drew finally gets his ultimate revenge by taking the title off of Punk in one way or another. And that's why originally I wanted it to be with Money in the Bank, but they had him cash it in like the same night. So that kind of went a different way. But I wouldn't the problem with that also would be though is that Gunther loses to one of them.
That's why I'm asking.
Oh, my brain immediately went to Drew because of Punk. I don't love that. No, I think that if he's gonna go up against Seth or Punk, I don't want him to drop it to either of them. I don't know who I'd want him to drop it to. Okay, I really don't know. It's not a question.
Can I give Sarah? Can I give an answer?
Who?
Goldberg.
Nope.
Goldberg.
You're disgusting.
Goldberg.
No. Gunther versus Cena. That's the only one I could probably get behind because Cena would become a 17-time champion. But the problem.
Don't you want to see Cena Cody at
But
Mania?
look, you're really far away from the mic.
But don't you want to see Cena Cody at Mania?
No, not necessarily.
What?
Well, no, because we could, I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
It's hard to say.
I've been cooking that one up since he announced his retirement.
But the thing is, Drew started it by talking crap to Punk about him being injured. I don't. If you really want to say that he started it, then you're basically admitting that Punk is a little puss.
Little bitch.
Yeah, he's a little bitch that can't handle shit talking, which he's made his entire career off of. I've been saying that since the beginning.
I'm confused by this because didn't CM Punk start this?
Yes. All in response to Punk gloating that he's the one who injured him. That was all that he said. And then Punk is the one that kept trying to taking the title off him.
Drew McIntyre did.
It was still, but that it doesn't matter though, because if we're talking about real life, it was an accident, and the only thing that he did, like, it wasn't intentional. It wasn't like a spot where it was supposed to make it look like he injured him.
I'm saying there was before the Rumble, there was beef going on.
Well, there was real life beef going on.
Yeah, but didn't it translate over to TV is what I'm saying. Like, who introduced that first? Did McIntyre interrupt Punk?
I don't know.
Okay, but I still think
I still think that Drew deserves revenge, though. He took the title, made him lose the title 3 times.
Yeah.
So
that's why I like the pause. I don't agree with that. That's why I like your idea about the pause, because the ultimate revenge would be Drew taking the title away from Punk.
Yes. Okay, so we're on the same page. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, little. Well, what's up with you?
Yeah. So then, because of the 2-hour Raw, people were just interrupting each other, and I don't know if that's going to be a thing going forward, but I don't like it. But we'll see. Seth, as he is, after he makes his little threat to Bronson Reed, we hear Jey Uso's music hit, and you remember, oh yeah, these two don't get along either. So there was a little bit of ness there. But Jey Uso was putting his title on the line against Xavier Woods, and this match went as everyone expected. Jey Uso was going to retain, and Xavier Woods is continuing to go down the path of being a heel because he would not shake Jay's hand after the match because he was, of course, pissed that he lost. And I think So I know that we've discussed it potentially being Kofi, and I still think it's a possibility. I'm not saying it's like 50-50. I would argue maybe it's like 90-10 at this point that it's Kofi and not Woods. But I'm kind of wondering what the tipping point is going to be. Like, what is it going to be that makes Woods like fully turn? You know what I mean? Like, I'm kind of curious. What is that going to be that makes him finally just like beat up Kofi? You
It's the
know?
10-year anniversary of New Day that's coming up. I'm telling you, it's gonna happen.
But
It's
like you're
gonna
just gonna
be
beat him up because it's the anniversary?
no. Not. Let me elaborate. There's going to be little instances where okay, Woods didn't shake his hand. All
Mhm.
right, we'll talk about it after this, but Woods didn't want to help what was going on in the ring.
Mhm.
Next week or in the next match, Woods is going to try to get the pin or get the win,
Mhm.
and Kofi is going to cost him in some way, shape, or form.
Mhm.
That is 95% accidental. And then it's going to keep building and building, little instances there. And then at the 10-year anniversary, because I saw that that's happening soon.
Yes, it's supposed to, I believe.
You know what? I'm going to finish my point, then look it up.
Okay.
That is going to be a moment where he realized I've been doing this for 10 years and I've not won a goddamn title, singles title
Mhm.
in this company. Boom.
Yeah.
Looking up this 10-year anniversary.
I'm curious. That's, I mean, I think that it's definitely something that they're probably going to mention on air. It's going to be something that they mention throughout the entire episode, probably.
Yeah, and it might
And
be the main event. Like
which, what, yeah,
main
like
event.
celebrating. It would be great if he did it during that,
I'm
during the
telling you,
celebration.
it's giving celebration of friendship vibes.
I think that's like the easiest way to get the most heat on Xavier.
Oh Jesus.
You know,
Oh.
I feel like it's I mean, the people were already booing the crap out of him when he tried to unmask, or he did unmask Rey Mysterio. I think if he like is out there and they're supposed to be
Yeah.
having a good time eating bootios and, you know, whatever, celebrating the 10-year anniversary of New Day, and he turns on Kofi, then like goes in for the hug but actually like puts a move on him and like body slams him or something, I would be into that.
December 1st, ladies and
Okay.
gentlemen. Mark your calendars. December
Yeah.
1st
So I think that would
is
be
when Xavier Woods is going to turn his back on the
mhm.
New Day.
Yep, 1,000%. 1,000%. Um, there's so many,
There's
so
so many
much.
comments. I
I know.
fucking love it. I wish I could get to all of them, but goddamn, no.
Also, Richard did say that it was um behind the scenes beef before Royal Rumble with Drew and Punk. So
Yes,
our
that's
point stands then.
so yeah, there we go. Okay.
But before this segment wrapped up,
Yeah, amazing.
woohoo! Braun Breaker.
Amazing.
I told you I became a fan because of him
He's
losing the Intercontinental title.
amazing.
So, apparently it doesn't take too much for me to get on board with loving a heel, and now I'm a big Braun Breaker stan, and
Hell yeah. Welcome.
I am so glad that his little babyface turn was just a blip on the timeline, because it did not feel right last week. It's like, okay, you know, you wanted us to, you needed to take a break, or you needed it so that he, you know, he wasn't feeling the best, so he couldn't do whatever on Raw, whatever the reason was for him congratulating Jay and acting like a good sport about it, whatever. Um, it just didn't feel right to me. I was like, no, this is not the direction we can go in right now. Braun is way too good at being a hateable heel. Like, you cannot do this. So I am so glad that Jay just put it all on the line against Xavier Woods in a title defense, and Braun comes out of nowhere and shows Jay how a spear is supposed to be done. Okay.
Yeah, that shit hurted.
Yeah. So I am glad that this is going to continue, but then okay, you can get your, I'll let you get your thoughts out on this, because then I have
Oh,
another,
thank you.
I have a concern about this also.
Oh, pourquoi?
So you don't want to talk about? Do you don't have any thoughts on it, or?
I just thought the spear was fucking awesome. That's really all it
He's
was.
so good.
It was such a good spear. I love that we're going to continue making him the machine that he is. A little
Mhm.
snake in the grass move by him showing smiles and then, his true intentions afterwards.
Mhm.
It I You have to make Braun Breaker into this generation's Brock Lesnar and also an evolution of a Steiner,
Mhm.
but it has to evolve. It can't be the same old song and dance we've seen in the past with other second generation whatever superstars. This dude has it. Like this dude has it. Just make him be a killing machine.
Yeah,
He's
no,
doing a great job.
they've done a really good job at I it feels like and he's one of the most recent second generation stars, obviously, to come out of WWE, but they look like they're going about it a lot better than they have in the past, because there's a reason why Curtis Axel flopped. There's a reason why Ted DiBiase Jr.
There it is.
flopped. You know what
That's
I
what I was
mean?
waiting
So it's
for.
like they're they've tried it before, obviously, even with Curtis Axel. I mean,
David Flair.
his first name was horrific, Michael McGillicuddy. Okay.
Yeah, that sounds like a hangover.
And it's like, I understand the Curtis Axel thing. It wasn't a bad idea. It was just the way they went about it. And I mean, part of it is obviously he just kind of lacked charisma and it just kind of fell flat. But I mean, they even gave the dude Paul Heyman. You know what I mean? So it's like they
Yeah, they
were doing
do.
everything that they possibly could to get that guy over, and it just wasn't working. But what they've done with Braun Breaker, I don't know of how different it is from those guys in the past, but it's clearly they're doing the right thing by him, because you don't look at him and automatically just think Steiner and that's all you can think about, which
I
is
think Goldberg, low key.
well, yeah, but you know what I mean?
Like,
It's like,
no, but a more like he gives off the Goldberg athleticism, powerhouse
mhm,
that it's fast as all hell.
yeah,
And he gives off that where the Steiners were very tag team to me. I
mhm,
could just be showing my age, obviously,
mhm,
but my memories of Scott Steiner were very stiff,
mhm.
and he was just the big bad booty daddy.
Yeah,
Braun Breaker is not the big bad booty daddy.
no. He's the big badassy daddy, apparently, because that's what he likes to go by. So my only concern with this whole thing is, and I could be proven right again, and I don't know if this is something I want to be right about, but the fact that they're already like teasing this matchup again, I am starting to really feel even more that they only put the title on Jey Uso temporarily. I really feel like they just wanted to allow him to say that he had won a singles title, and they were like, you know what, take it up, Braun Breaker, and then you're gonna give it right back to him. And if that's the case, that is so stupid. So stupid.
Sorry, you think Rikishi called HQ?
Dude.
You think
Legit.
Rikishi called and
Legit.
complained?
Like, I will give you the big bad booty daddy. Okay. That's
You
what
would
he
have
would.
given him a stink face.
Yeah, he would have. He
Oh,
threatened it. And he's like, and my ass is a lot worse now. Okay. But it
Julian.
honestly, it's like, if this is what happens, if it really is that, like, if it's at Crown Jewel or whatever, that Jay loses it, it's just confirmation that they just wanted to add a check on his resume. That was it. And again, no one's going to remember. It doesn't matter how great and like
I'll
huge
remember.
that his
I'll
celebration was.
remember.
No one is going to remember him as a singles competitor. And it's not disrespectful, because the thing is his tag team career has been incredible. There's a reason why the Usos are arguably the best tag team in WWE history, if not wrestling history. So it's like, there's a reason for that. You didn't need to bulk it up by saying, oh, well, he was an intercontinental champion for 30 days. Really? But
I'll remember him as an Intercontinental Champion.
Okay, I'm not saying no, okay. When I say no one, I'm exaggerating. I'm saying there will be, but I'm saying the vast majority of people will not remember him for that. They're going to remember
You're
him
right.
as
I'm not the vast majority.
they're
That's
going
right.
to remember him as one of the longest reigning or the longest reigning,
The longest reigning.
tag team champions. That's what they're going to remember him for. So that's why it's just like it just doesn't seem worth it. I guess if they just I don't know. It seems like this was all to benefit Jay, which whatever, but it just reminds me of all the people
I love it.
From Bad Blood that were saying that Liv needed to lose to Rhea because no one wants to see Liv versus Nia. I'd rather see Rhea versus Nia.
Then watch Elimination Chamber.
And then people were saying it about how Gunther needed to lose to Sammy because it would be so much more interesting to see Sammy versus Cody. What are we talking about?
We're too online. We are too online if this is what we're talking.
They do not just drop titles for one match. Otherwise, they wouldn't have booked that match. If they really didn't want,
so brainwashed.
If they didn't want Cody to face off with Gunther, then they never would have said it because no one that wasn't on anyone's bingo card for 2024 in WWE that they were gonna come out with a new crown jewel championship and have champion versus champion. If they didn't want these matches to happen, they wouldn't have made them happen. We
are so Stockholm syndromed from Vince McMahon. It's unbelievable.
But then I'm called psychotic.
Unbelievable.
I'm called psychotic for saying that they are crazy. I'm like,
you gotta start. You gotta start commenting. It's Vince McMahon Stockholm. You should just have like a copy and paste comment. Like this is an effect. This is an effect of Vince McMahon Stockholm syndrome.
Yes.
Please, yeah.
VMSS. Anyway, so we see The Miz talking backstage with Karrion Kross. With Karrion Kross, who is kind of trying to take his rightful win over The Miz turning on R-Truth last week, which The Miz is having none of it. But I'm like, come on, Miz, you were manipulated. Stop it right now. Stop it right now. Stop it. This is another comment that people started coming for me for because people were saying something about The Miz and Karrion Kross and how interested are you in their pairing? And I was like, y'all are sleeping on Karrion. And people were coming for me. They were like, yeah, because he's so mid, he puts people to sleep. And I was like, whatever. But anyway, so Mr. R-Truth, the very forgiving man that he is, approached The Miz and was like, oh, I know that was just like an accident last week, blah, blah, blah. Like, we're still cool. The Miz is like, nah, bruh. And R-Truth continues to try and be like, no, it's cool. Like, we're going to have a match together next week. Miz wants none of it and says, no, actually, we're going to have a match next week against each other. I can't say that I'm super interested in The Miz versus R-Truth, but I am interested in seeing where the progression of this story goes.
I would like. Well, I'm going to answer your question with a question.
Okay.
Did you see something appear during the segment?
Oh yes, yes. So the Wyatt Six.
That's what I'm thinking. Is his next? Because he's abandoning his family, which is R-Truth.
Yep. I am here for it.
Feed your head, Sarah. Feed your head.
I am so here for them to be moving on from Chad Gable, but I also want to see more from the Wyatt Six. Like I am glad that they're using them sparingly because I do think that they could become something that people get sick of fairly quickly because it is so gimmicky and different, even if it is really rooted in realism and stuff like as we've said before. But it is definitely something that people could become tired of. And I don't want that to happen. We've said that so many times. Like that cannot happen with the Wyatt Six because of why they're a group. But I think Miz versus Bo Dallas. Yeah. I want it all day, every day.
I need it.
Yeah. I can't wait. I am so excited. So so that is probably going to happen next week on Raw, which I'm interested in. And I'm also intrigued about like, what is Karrion's involvement going to be? Because The Miz said, I'm not a part of Final Testament just because, I did this or whatever. You didn't have any impact on it, which is a lie, we know. But
he tagged with him.
Yeah, but I'm interested in like, do the Wyatt Six also go after them or after Karrion because he had some sort of influence over the Miz? Like, I'm just curious if it's going to be just the Miz or what. I don't know, But
I'd be interested to see how they could work a Karrion Cross Final Testament to Wyatt 6.
that would
I'm
be
not
crazy.
disagreeing that I don't want to see it,
No,
but
no, no, no.
I
Yeah, I
do. I
get it.
just have no idea how that could happen.
You tried to listen to me? What do you mean?
I don't know what we're talking about, color.
What do you want? What do you mean? You should listen to me because I'm right like 98% of the time.
Boom.
And then we got. Okay, I'm
Damn.
sorry. I'm still at a point when I hear people say Pete Dunne, I feel like they're saying it wrong.
You're attacked. You feel personally attacked.
Yeah, like I was getting upset because I kept hearing them say it last night, and I was like, no. And then I'm like having to train my brain that I'm saying it wrong.
No,
You
we're
know?
we're really big fans of Pretty Deadly.
Well, it's like when Kit was like, Ellie, what is that smelly? And I was like, I am obsessed with you. I am obsessed with you, Kitty. I'm obsessed with you.
The whole that's a whole other
Ellie,
thing.
what is that smelly? Oh, Kit. Okay, but anyway, so we had Pete Dunne versus Sheamus in a Donnybrook match, and I didn't have low expectations. I had mid expectations, okay, because this was a 2-hour Raw. It was a gimmicky match. It was something that didn't involve a title. That we've already seen a couple times at this point. But
I went to one live. I've seen one live.
But hello.
Banger.
Absolute. Almost like could have been
banger.
Could have been the main event. Almost could have been on Bad Blood. Like, I would have been more entertained by that match at Bad Blood than a couple of the others. I'm not gonna lie.
Finn and Damien. Yeah.
Don't even get me started on that. Finn should have
I'm
won.
sorry,
I'm
but it's
pissed off
true.
about it. But yeah, this was a really good match. And Sheamus with the white noise off of the barrels into two tables.
Was so
my nephew,
that was awesome.
My nephew
was
sitting
so
next to me, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, buddy, what are they gonna do?" And because he knows who Sheamus is. And then I was like, "Oh my god, watch!" And he like throws, like just goes through the table with him, and I was like, "Sheamus, you are a giant man, and you just landed on a man half your size. Okay, this is a Monday Night Raw episode. You didn't need to go that hard, Sheamy.
You went hard.
Okay, but yeah, no, this was so good, and I don't really have anything else to say about it. I loved the ending. I love that Sheamus was just like exhausted and just basically collapsed, and that was how he won. I loved it. I don't know where this goes from here. I don't know if it does continue. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, there's really not a whole lot more they could do,
No, Pete Dunne's got to go to another storyline that maybe honestly he could go after Gunther. I know he lost, but like that could also be something Gunther could just make fun of him for on the mic.
Yeah,
you're like, why you think you can come after me?
Yeah.
You lost to Sheamus.
Yeah.
I beat Sheamus at WrestleMania.
I am sorry. Okay. That moment between Gunther and Goldberg at Bad Blood.
We had match of the year. I think that's moment of the year.
No, not that moment and the Bret Hart moment would have to go together because him telling Bret Hart
it's 1 and 2. They're together. It's a package.
And the thing is like Goldberg was probably going to be there regardless because they were in Atlanta. So it's like it was just going to happen anyway. So it's not like they just brought him there for that moment. But I love that they're letting Gunther do this shit. You know what I mean?
He just walked out with the mic. And
it's like,
what's up?
And there was really, there was no, because the thing is, there was no reason for him to be out there.
There was zero reason.
Except to troll Goldberg in front of his son. That was the only reason.
I got 3 minutes. Yeah. Was the line of the night was I got 3 minutes.
Yeah, and you would kill him in 3 minutes is what you're saying.
Oh my god. Oh, it was just, you know what it did? And I'm so mad about it, but not. It makes me want to see Gunther Goldberg.
I know.
But like the Triple H version of it where the right guy wins.
Well, yeah, because this was a talking point
that people Gunther just chopping the shit out of Goldberg for like 10 minutes.
But this was a reason why people thought Gunther should have lost because they're like, okay, I want to see him versus Goldberg, but it can't involve the title. And I'm like, but you can still have a match with him and it doesn't involve the title. Like, I get it's weird to have a champion in a match and it's not for the title, but like, why would Goldberg get a title shot? It's not like it would be that difficult for Gunther to be like,
No.
no.
He said
And
no to Sammy.
well, and it's
He
also
didn't say
possible that
yes
the
to
title is
Gunther.
on the line, and I don't know, Goldberg doesn't win. Imagine that. You can have a title match where the opponent doesn't win, no matter who they are. Like,
Yeah.
Goldberg doesn't have to win the title. But I mean, it seems like a match that they'd want to put Goldberg over, but it's like, no, you can't
No,
have
you don't
Goldberg
put
against
Goldberg
Gunther.
over.
No.
We're done putting Goldberg over.
Yeah.
Goldberg beat Bray Wyatt. I won't get over that. That's
Yeah,
why he
I
deserves to
know.
be chopped by Gunther for 10 minutes straight. Moving on.
I would be here for that 100%. Anyway, so a part of the new 2-hour format of Raw meant that we didn't get any answers about Raquel Rodriguez's involvement with the Judgment Day. She would not answer if she was officially part of the Judgment Day. However, she did appear to be their Uber driver for Dom
That's one
Dom.
way to put it.
Yeah, for Daddy Dom and Liv. I don't care. I know that a lot of people. Okay, so this is the thing. I feel bad for how much hate Raquel is getting because of the end of Liv and Rhea's match and how it
It's
didn't
not
go
her
according to
fault.
plan, and that she didn't really get a big reaction. But the thing is so like that makes me feel bad because it's like, I get it. Like, we aren't sitting here, or when we were predicting that she was going to be a part of this match, we weren't like, oh my god, I can't wait to see Raquel return, and oh my god, this is going to be such a moment. But I also think that it's like, it's just kind of mean. Like, she could be like a really cool part of this story and we just haven't seen it yet. And so just to acting like, oh, she's so mid, like no one even cared, blah blah blah. It's like the whole ending was just messed up, and I don't know who messed it up. It seemed like it was the referee. But I still think that this could be very interesting, and it gets Liv and Rhea off of each other for the time being, which is what everyone wanted, right?
Exactly.
Like,
I want to point this out.
okay.
I see a resemblance of Liv and Raquel to HBK and Kevin Nash, or Diesel to the WWE people.
Okay.
When HBK was at the top, he needed he's pretty much a henchman.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Raquel is to Liv. She's just a
Mhm.
strong hand.
Yeah.
And what a good role for Raquel.
Yeah.
Like, she needs
It
to.
makes sense.
It makes so much sense. So why not just do it? And it elevates Liv. It gets
Mhm.
her into a main event picture in some way, shape, or form, and previewing it for when she's back in the main event picture again, when she
Yeah.
starts having feuds and whatnot. So, like, it's a good thing at the end of the day. And I don't I like the Mystique right now. I don't want her to say anything right now.
Yeah. I think I mean, okay, so as we've said, to a certain extent, it's like valid why some people are not super interested in the Liv Rhea stuff. I get it. There are some weeks where it's like, all right, whatever. I think some of the talking points are a little ridiculous, saying that it's so much more focused on Dom than it is over the championship. I think they've done a decent job of trying to get away from that, but also at the same time, it's like Liv is using Dom as the antagonizer to Rhea, and that is why he's like really at the center of this, because the whole thing is about Liv stealing everything from Rhea, which included Dawn, which included Judgment Day, which included the title. So it's like all of that is supposed to be valuable to Rhea, and that is why it's constantly part of the story, and it's not just the championship. So it's like, you would think that losing your family would be more impactful to Rhea than losing the title. I'm sure she would much rather be with her family than have the championship and not have them. You know what I mean? Like, so Liv not or Dawn being like such a focus of the storyline, I think that people are just not looking into it enough. But I think that this adds a little bit of spice to the story, and like you said, it could make things a lot more interesting to have her as like a bodyguard, and also a more serious role for Raquel where they're not trying to make her like the heel. Like this could be like she's the heel version of Rhea, but without them trying to force it down our throat the way they are with like the PFC. It's like it's a group of
That's
the ass kicking girls, but it's like there's not a lot of room for
no,
all of you to exist, apparently, you
there's
know?
not.
So
There's
this just gives her a purpose, and at least it's again taking the story off of um it being just Liv and Rhea over and over and over again, you know. Yes, Micah, we are going to um Mania 41 in
oh
Vegas.
yeah.
Already got our hotel
Oh,
and everything. Um okay, I don't know if I don't really have a ton to say about this, and I'm kind of doing it because of time.
ego.
Um because of
Gotta wanna
time.
gotta kinda wanna smile. That's all
But
I gotta say about it.
all
It
right.
was
Well,
great.
interesting though. It was interesting to see him on Raw. Um and we can get to the main event, which was Gunther versus Sami Zayn for
Gunther.
the World Heavyweight Championship. And I have to say, the amount of people that were telling me and telling the internet that Gunther was going to lose literally had me holding my breath, chewing off my nails throughout this entire 20-minute match. I was convincing myself that they were correct and that was going to happen and that I was going to have to live with that result. So I am so glad that Gunther retained because nothing against Sami. I love Sami. As I've said a million times, Sami has one of my favorite matches of all time. So I will not say anything bad, or hateful, whatever against Sami. I love Sami. I just didn't, no, we didn't need to see Gunther lose the title, especially on a Monday
No
Night Raw.
reason. There's
No.
no reason for him to lose right now. I know is that curveball of the crown jewel champion of champions throw
Hmm.
a wrench into this where
Yeah.
you want to see Sammy versus Cody,
Hmm.
or because we saw Gunther and Goldberg get all hot and bothered. Like
But the thing
we're
is
not like you have to think long term.
yes, you don't need
Again, we're in the Stockholm syndrome of Vince McMahon.
because you
I
don't need
like
instant gratification from everything. That's the
you
thing is,
don't.
and the thing is you didn't even really get that with Vince McMahon anyway. Sometimes you got no satisfaction because he would tease
Sometimes you got
something and then it
nothing.
was gone a
Sometimes you
week
got a
later.
whole lot of shit, just
Yeah.
nothing,
So
and then no explanation.
I think that the Gunther Goldberg thing was kind of just like ironic timing because of Bret Hart being on Raw, and then they're in Atlanta a few weeks later, and Goldberg lives there and is like a prominent figure in
It's called
Atlanta.
the
So it's like you
universe
have to
missing
take
you.
advantage of it because people were going to think about it if it didn't happen. But it doesn't mean that that's going to happen anytime soon. Like I get that people want it at Crown Jewel, but I'm sorry, I cannot wait to see Cody Rhodes versus Gunther.
That's
Hello,
gonna slap so hard.
literally.
Mm.
Literally. So I mean this was a really good match obviously, and I loved that the way that Gunther won was very definitive because he put that man to sleep. So there's nothing that
He put him
anyone can
right to
say.
Betty Bye.
Yeah.
That was
So
incredible.
it was so good.
Do you
I don't
think Gunther's like finish or whatever, like that's a sleeper? Like that's just like,
I
all
don't
right, I
know.
can't do anything to you. I'm just gonna put you to sleep.
Yes, well because he did the power slam before that, which was another one of his
The
finishers.
perfect symphony,
I don't
something.
remember. Yeah, so it's like he
Symphony.
did that and that didn't work. So I really think that I like that he doesn't have a single one because you don't know how he's going to
That's
win. And it's like that's very old school, obviously, because if you see Stone Cold hit a stunner, the match is over.
it's over. It's
And that's
fucking
fun
over.
for nostalgia. But I think when you're like a fan of wrestling in 2024, you don't necessarily want that because it does make them feel like superhuman. You know what I mean? And like when you're older, that's not what you necessarily want to see. That's like
Yeah.
because you know that it's not real. Like people don't want to see John Cena getting beat up the entire match and then he hits an AA and he wins. You know what I mean? That's not what we want
You
to see.
did in 2012.
Well, I did, yeah,
You
but
wanted to see that in 2012.
it was also 12 years ago. I was a lot younger. So, yeah, anyway, I'm just looking forward to Crown Jewel. I hate the championship. I absolutely hate the title. I think it's
Oh,
ugly.
I'm saving all my thoughts about
But
that for Thursday because We would be here another 20 minutes, Sarah.
I know.
That title, that whole segment, the whole just grabbing the fans by the balls
Mhm.
and teasing them with thinking it's gonna be a women's mid card or a women's mid card title or whatever, and you get that. It was like, oh, this is. It
Yeah.
makes too much sense. I'll just leave it at that. It just makes sense.
Romaro says who is honestly going to win between Cody Rhodes and Gunther.
Cody Rhodes.
Gunther has to win.
Cody Rhodes.
Cody can handle a loss.
Yeah, Sarah, we're thinking about two different things.
Cody can handle a loss. Who needs to win more? Gunther.
Who is the face of WWE?
That doesn't matter.
Okay.
That doesn't matter in this instance. Are you kidding me? Technically, Gunther is supposed to be the face of Raw.
But follow the money.
Okay, and they could make a ton of money by upsetting everybody. What are you talking about?
It's Cody Rhodes.
It also just helps Gunther because he won King of the Ring, then he won the World Heavyweight title, then he wins the Crown Jewel Championship. Come on! And I'm saying this as like one of the biggest Cody fans.
I understand.
Cody's fans.
That's why.
So,
that's why I'm not. That's why I'm shocked.
Well, okay. Well, I think it needs to be Gunther. I really think it needs to be Gunther.
The American Nightmare.
Cody doesn't need it at all. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's not why I'm saying Cody. DS.
I think I'm saying it because it's
it.
like Liv needs to beat Nia. Liv needs to beat Nia.
I haven't thought about
because who needs it more? Liv.
Liv does, yeah, but
so that's what I'm saying. It's the same thing in my opinion for Gunther. Gunther needs it.
Because I don't know what's gonna. It could be, for all we know, it could be friggin' Tiffany Stratton versus Liv. Realistically,
yeah.
I mean,
I
like,
know.
there's so much to think about there.
I don't know. Well, anyway, but that was Raw. Sorry,
that was Raw.
Speed it up. I just got.
Yeah, no, you are totally.
I got
fine.
people to see. You know,
Sarah's got peeps to see. Fucking excited because I have peeps to talk to over on Xbox. I'm gonna play some Madden, Sarah. All right. 2-0. I got Jaden Daniels as my quarterback, and he's leading the Commanders. Let's hope he leads the Bison. And yeah, we'll be back on Thursday, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, the EST of the show. And follow us on all social media. It's all in the links in the descriptions below because it really helps. And you actually get to see our takes outside of this show. Nathaniel tweets at me, why aren't you? All right, if Nathaniel's doing it, why aren't you? Okay, so see you guys on Thursday. Thank you for tuning in. God bless. Remember that you can do it. All you got to do is try. See you then. Peace.